Okay, Blueback Dental Daily Floater Checklist. So this actually all fits on one page, so we will print a bunch of them for each office, and this will serve as a template and as a strategy for the floater to plan their day, which can be overwhelming when you're being interrupted and constantly needing to flip rooms and seat patients. It can be difficult to remember to get all of the details done. So that's the purpose of this checklist, and it will be required to be filled out by each floater in each office each day. So you can check the items off as you complete it. So first thing is opening duties. We know what those are. Once you have done everything there, you can check this box here. And then the morning huddle will serve as the time for the floater to plan their day and take a look at their schedule. So the green sheet can be used as a reference throughout the day. Look to see what time the new patients are, and then put the time that you will need to be taking photos in here. So if there's a new patient at 8 a.m., I would expect to take photos at like 8:15, put the times here. Next, plan your lunch. So look to see when the new patients are, when your floater only appointments are. Make sure that you are back from lunch when the hygienist needs you for photos. Floater only appointments, review with the doctor after the huddle. So once that's done, you check that there. You can check during the morning huddle to see if hygiene bags need to be made throughout the day. If they do need to be made, then they'll let you know. Otherwise, don't worry about it. Okay, so 8 a.m., everybody breaks for their appointments. That's when the floater needs to check the cases for the next day. So first, pull the lab cases for the next day. Check the box here after you've done that. Check to see, do you need to call any labs or check on Invisalign tracking information? Do you need to? Yes or no? Check there. Where you need to call, if you might want to write it down here, and then after you've called, check the box. So for example, like Smile Designs doesn't open until 11. Great Lakes doesn't open until 10. So write it down, then you go back at your list at the end of the day or midday and check to make sure you have it. Check what lab work needs to be completed for the next day. So once you check to see what needs to be done, you check that box there and you write it down. So patient's name, what needs to be made. Patient's name, what needs to be made. After you make it, check this box here. Check the printer and alcohol bath and curing oven for models. Check that there. Pull the Invisalign cases for the next day. Check. Communicate with the other office if it needs to be brought over. Check. Check the iTero log and what models need to be printed. So you check the log, you write down what models need to be printed, and then you check the box after they are printed. Check if lab cases need to be picked up. So you check on that. And then if you need to call for pickups, check this box after you call. So basically at 8 a.m., you're planning out everything that needs to be done for the next day so that patient care is not compromised and patients don't need to be rescheduled. It's not like you're completing all of these tasks right at 8 a.m. Obviously, that would be impossible. But now you have a written list of exactly what needs to be done so you can go back and check throughout the day to make sure you're getting it all done. Floater appointments. So you've looked to see where those are. For ortho records, here's a checklist. Did you make note of the patient's chief complaint in the clinical note? I had a patient the other day who only wanted to do upper only, and I did not read that information in the clinical note. Therefore, I presented a case which was upper and lower and more expensive than she wanted, and it didn't go well. Did you submit the photos and scan to Invisalign? Check there. Did you mark in the patient info section the doctor and the date of the next visit? For example, if it's a patient of mine, I would like it to say Dr. Liz, whether it's an in-office ClinCheck or a virtual ClinCheck, and the date. And then is there an L on the next visit? So if you have ortho records that day, make sure all these boxes are checked. On to night guard records. Do you have the correct prescription? Do you need to ask the doctor? Did you note the patient's chief complaint in the clinical note? Same thing. Is it making a new night guard? Have they had a night guard before that we're just remaking? And then after, was it billed under the correct doctor? Is there an L in delivery? Did you include location and due date on the prescription? Whitening, photos, shade photos, are they uploaded? Consent form, is it scanned? Core prescription, is it filled out, signed, and given to the front desk to fax? So check, check, check. And we understand that obviously this is the reason it's tough is because you might not be able to get all of these things done in order, but the checklist should give you reminders of what you need to go back to. Delivery appointments like retainers or what have you, is the clinical note complete? Throughout the day, check in lab cases, turn the L's green, make trays in stock rooms, and then we have our closing duties, some Avon specific ones, pumps off, and then grab cases to be brought over. An additional list can be made for the chairside assistants, which is obviously not as complicated, but there are lists of things that should be completed, like submitting cases or uploading photos. So if this works well, we can do something like that for the chairside assistants. So thank you to Kelsey and Tracy for putting a lot of this information together, and hopefully it's helpful for everyone so that things move smoothly. Thank you.